Can you hear it? So this is just a short example of what you can do with looping. Oh. All right, so just make sure you are in the right place for yourself and for others. This is for flute players, flutists, flautists, however you say it, piccolo players, piccoloists, alto flute players, bass flute players, and any combination of the sort. So if that's you, you're in the right place. What if growing as a musician felt more like play without practicing for hours and hours on end? That's what we're going to explore today. Because by the end of this webinar, you will discover how to turn practice into real music instead of repetitive exercises. You know what I'm talking about if you're a flutist. Those repetitive exercises we do every day for years and years, de la sonorité, and, well, you know, all those things. You can improve faster while spending less time stuck in traditional practice, like I was saying. You can do and become a more creative, confident, and independent flute player through creative looping. So let's get into it. Oh yeah, this is me just a few days ago. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit more about what I was saying. Are you a wind instrumentalist like me, who's always looking for time to practice and never has time, or I'm just like playing the same old exercises that I've always played? Or another like scale exercises or etudes or something you've been playing since you were in college. Well, can you also push a button with your toe? You can create your own chord. You can even play some percussion on top of it, like this. Check this out. Check this out. And you can become your own band. You can get better at rhythm. You can get better at tuning. Oh, check this out. Check this out. I can do all those things like in seconds. Like it just took me a second. I just came up with that. Even if you don't improvise, as long as you know a scale, you can totally do this too. And it doesn't take a lot of tech to understand. It just takes a foot or a finger or a knee. Like you don't even have to be standing. You can do all this with one touch of a button. And I can teach you how. Well, let me show you some more examples. All right, yes, and I just came up with that in a second. Like, I hadn't even thought about it. So, let's see what else we got here. This is Danny. He has his degree from the Berklee School of Music in Guitar Performance, and he's learning how to play the flute with his son, and his son Spencer, and they love to be silly and playful. They both were having fun with the pedals, and Danny, you'll hear, he actually brings in his knowledge about jazz chords and guitar into this, even though he just learned how to play the flute. So this is his first time flute looping. Love it. That's just a snippet. I'll show some more of him later today. This is Alexis. She's been a classical student of mine for a very, very long time. And this is the very first time that she ever looped. So I've worked with her over the years, and I was trying, well, I'll tell you more about that later. Check this out. On the, oh wait, the blue, yeah, that one? It takes you real low. She couldn't stop laughing because she was so excited. She was like, oh my gosh, I hear myself playing. I thought that was fun. So what do these people have in common? They stopped treating practice like they always had, and they started creative looping. They discovered creative looping. I shared with them a creative approach to practice that helped them improve rhythm, tuning, confidence, creativity, and musical expression in minutes. Fast. So again, who is this for? Flute players tired of repetitive practice who want creative. Oh, we got another person here. Woo! All right, let them in. So what I was saying, you're right on time, because who this is for is flute players tired of practice and who want more creative ways to improve. Flutists ready to unlock a completely new world of sound. And flute players who want to make practice feel fun, musical, and inspiring. Who else is this for? The person who just showed up. Who else is this for? Experienced players wanting to discover new techniques and sounds. Musicians who want to feel excited to practice every day. And players who want to sound like a full band, even when practicing alone. Who is this not for? Not for flutists looking for shortcuts without musical growth. Flutists unwilling to explore new creative approaches. You know who they are. They're out there. Flute players who want to practice the same way they always have, with the same things over and over and over and over. Who is this also not for? Anyone without a flute of any sort. So if you don't have a flute, this is not for you. Beginning flute players, because you got to learn how to play the flute. And younger players still learning to make a sound on their instrument. This exploration is for every flute player. We're going to talk about 3 secrets. Woo. What we'll cover is secret number 1, why traditional practice often feels slow and uninspiring. Secret number 2, the creative spark, bringing curiosity and joy to your playing. And secret number 3, build ensemble skills, which is the one that I'm most excited about, and become your own ensemble in minutes. Why this is different from other webinars is that, or actually from other training, is most musicians are trained to play solo lines. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Creative looping teaches musicianship. Most looping courses are guitar focused. For those who've looked at looping courses before, this program is built solely for flute players by a flute player. Instead of consistent repetition, you begin creating music in real time, and you can repeat it yourself. Instead of waiting years to feel creative and confident to play, you begin developing musical skills and freedom immediately. My goal from this web class is to help you discover a more creative, musical, and inspiring way to improve on your instrument. To overcome the tech overwhelm, which I know a lot of people have, with simple tools made just for flute players. To escape the frustration of relying on others and create your own music anytime. All right. For those of you who stay till the end, I'll give you super easy tips to apply in your next practice session. Yes, that's right. Even if you don't have a looper, or if you do have a looper and you don't want to get it out, you're going to discover a more inspiring and playful approach to practice. So pay close attention. Are you ready to pay close attention? And play close attention? This next idea can change the way you practice forever. My name is Sarah Jane Hargis, for those of you who don't know me. And what you're about to discover today is an exploration and what allowed me to be a recording artist. I have a ton of albums. These are not all my albums, but these are albums that I have done by myself with, of course, my bandmates or other friends. And the Healing Sound Project, which I created with my friend Andrea Cortez, which you'll hear about later today. These are some of our albums and some of our performances that we've done. We are featured on Heart Dance Records with the Healing Sound Project, and we've been featured on a lot of different radio stations and with the city of Austin, which is where I live. I have been able to play on Balcony TV with the National Flute Association for several years, with the National Association of Music Merchants, and like I said, with the city of Austin and their economic development. I've been so blessed to be able to live in a beautiful city that really supports the arts. I'm an artist for Earthquaker Devices. I don't know if any of you all know about them, but they are a wonderful pedal company. They do pedal effects, mainly for guitarists and bassists, and I have taken them and explored their adventures of their pedals with the flute. I'm also an artist for Altus Flutes, and like I said, with Heart Dance Records. I'm a performer I've performed with many different musicians, award-winning musicians, and amazing talents. I don't know if you guys know any of these people, but Alex Koch and Nestor Torres, Jim Walker, and many more musicians all over the world. I grew up with lots of music around me. My dad was a guitarist and now is exploring bass. So I always had music around me. He was always playing music. My grandmother was a piano player. My grandfather was a mandolin player. My aunt was a French horn player, all-state winner, and my cousins also played a lot of music. Actually, jazz drummer that toured all around the world too. So, and on my mom's side, that was on my dad's side. On my mom's side, my stepfather had a rock band. And he and his brothers had a psychedelic rock band where they used, I don't know if you can see this down here, they used a lot of psychedelic sounds and guitar pedals that I always would just sit as a child at the rehearsals and be fascinated by. But my instrument was the flute, not the guitar or bass or anything like that. Yep, I was told that I have to play the flute. Now, I'm not anything special. I never really was like first chair flute player. Well, maybe once or twice, but I was your average flute player, practicing what my teachers told me to practice, my scales. I know you guys know this. long tones, of course, and all my etudes. The standard repertoire, of course, the French book, and all those things. And I was in middle school band, high school band. I found a picture of me in the high school marching band when I used to have really curly hair. And I was so fascinated by music that I went and got my bachelor's in music education. Because, like I said, I was your average flute player, but I love music. And I love sharing music with the world. So I became a band director. And what I found was I wasn't playing the flute much. And then I just really missed my flute so much because there wasn't a lot of time to play my flute. And I felt my skills were kind of disappearing. And maybe you're going through that, or you've been through that before. Or maybe you're going through that right now. So I went back to school because I missed my flute so much. I went back to school for a master's in music and performance of flute. I always dreamed of playing my flute all day. Wow. It was a lot of playing the flute in my master's degree. It was a lot of work. And I still did it. And I was like so excited about the opportunity to play. I was playing all the time, doing half recitals, doing full recitals. Just loved it. But just before I graduated, I shared with a friend of mine in graduate school about how I always dreamed of what I would do next after graduate school. And I shared with him, what if I were to take the flute and guitar pedals and amplify them? Wonder what would happen. Well, I did that, and before I really knew what I was doing, this is a long time ago, and before I knew what I was supposed to do, I did what any academic would do, research. And so I got on my computer and I was researching electric pedals for flute or electric pedals and flute, and there was one big problem that I found. There's a ton of looping and effects out there for guitarists and bassists, other string instruments, because they can have a pickup in their violin or in their cello. Singer-songwriters, there's a ton of information out there for looping effects for these musicians. And beatboxers and vocalists. Again, I said this was a long time ago. Wind instruments and effects, with effects is what I went to next. And I actually looked at this just yesterday. I researched wind instrument effects, and I really couldn't find much at all. I found looping effects for wind instruments for wind synths. I even talked to somebody yesterday who had just gotten something like an iwi. I don't know if you guys know what that is. I also found obscure results. An iwi, by the way, is an electronic wind instrument, if you guys don't know what that is. So I experimented. That was the next thing that I did. And, well, I blew up a lot of pedals. And I was just exploring. It was a playground of exploration whenever I got the sound, but then feedback would happen, and it was cacophony and craziness. Oh my gosh. But when I did get it right, oh my gosh, it was awesome. People started telling me, I've never seen a flute player do this before. And maybe you're saying that yourself. People started asking me, how do you do it? Because this is really different and weird. So I started sharing during my performances with my band. I would play a little bit with my effects. And then I was featured on many podcasts and asked to come and speak at the National Flute Convention and, like I said before, the National Association of Music Merchants. So I got to share with a lot of people how I do it. But I noticed that some people, even some of my friends that got their loopers, it's still dusty in the closet. I got to speak at schools and camps. This is me teaching at Flute Fire camp. I got to share it with some of my students in the extended techniques classes. And I got to speak at schools around the U.S., elementary schools and middle schools. And I got to share with a lot of young people and young flutists how to use the effects. In fact, I'll have to get another picture up next time, but I had, even this summer, I was able to have some of the students play with it. So they came up and I had an extra mic for them to put on, and then they got to play with their flute and they got to play with this and explore just like I get to every day. I got to speak at universities around the U.S., and I actually got to speak at my alma mater for my undergraduate, and a lot of different universities around Texas, Kentucky, Ohio. I got to speak at Oberlin and a lot of other universities that, countless universities, and I just felt so excited to share this with the youth and to share this with young people, how you can think outside the box. And in a moment, I'm going to show you 3 powerful concepts for free. That's right, that will have you discover fun and easy ways to play today. Quick, let's do a focus check-in before we begin. If you haven't in a while, you might want to stand up, shake your body a little bit, put your hands up in the air, shake them like you just don't care, and let's do a quick focus check-in. If you haven't had water recently, it might be a good idea to drink some water. All right, so here we go. Close your social media. You can check me out later. Put your phone away, or at least on silent. Mine's on Do Not Disturb. Eliminate any distractions. I see some people are out in their garden like me. I love it. And you'll get much more value from this session when you are all in and you're with us. Imagine what your life will be like when you can build a full musical texture in seconds. Tuning is easy in the moment. You're able to play in time and understand how it fits together. You can make time to practice because you make time to practice every opportunity you get, because, like I said, it's a playground of exploration and fun. That's right. It is fun to play your flute. It's not work anymore. And the exploration is unending. The joy of practice is bountiful. Or that's how I feel every day, instead of going to my scales and stuff and my de la sonorité. I love de la sonorité, don't get me wrong, but it is so much more fun now that I have looping in my life. All right. For years, I thought improving meant more repetition, more scales, more exercises, more practice hours. I was practicing 6, 7, 8 hours a day. Remember when I said that I imagined that I could easily play the flute through effect pedals before I did all that research, and I was like, what? And a looper. My first step was to explore what I imagined. And along the way, I discovered creative looping. It happened. It was amazing and exciting. Suddenly, practicing started feeling like music and play, like I was actually making music in the moment. Music has been written for me, and using my pedals. I've been so honored to have music written for me for orchestra and flute with effects. This was 1,000 pedals. I don't think there's a recording out there yet, but I intend to do one. I also I don't know if you guys know who Graham Reynolds is. He's done a lot of music for Richard Linklater, and he wrote some music for me. This is me goofing off and doing one of his pieces that he wrote for me where I got to bang on the flute with my pedals. And I actually had the opportunity, this is Graham Reynolds here, to play on one of his featured concerts, and he featured me and his compositions. I was so honored, and it was so exciting, especially the beating the flute part. That was super fun. And it wasn't a professional flute, just so you know. It was one that I got from a estate sale, so don't worry. It didn't even play. I have met some and performed for Wynton Marsalis, Ian Anderson, oh goodness, and Hubert Laws. I don't know if you all know who Hubert Laws is, but he is definitely a huge hero of mine, and he's been to a few of my concerts and sat in the front row. I was so excited. And Ian and Wynton all had great things to say for my music. I was so honored. And this is all because that I did this exploration with creative looping. Now, I know you're anxious for me to get to step by step, but I need to make sure that you take these techniques seriously. And I need to make sure you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, or put a 5 in the chat if I can't see you. Awesome. All right, great. Thank you. I am asked so much to perform and share how I use a looper and pedals with my flutes. I started sharing creative looping with other musicians and students that I know, like I shared with Danny and his son and several other students that I have. And they started experiencing the same breakthroughs that I had. Better tuning, better rhythm, understanding rhythm, and being able to build an ensemble on your own. I shared with my friend Andrea, who I started the Healing Sound project with. Here she is. This is us getting her first pedal. And as a string instrument, it's very easy for her because she just put a pickup on her harp. But she started experimenting with creative looping too, and I taught her how to use a looper. And then she was like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And she now has like a few loopers. And together, like I said, we created this and started the Healing Sound project that you can find all over wherever, but stay focused here. She now performs regularly with her looper. She is now doing solo music, and she plays with me, where she's just looping on her own and creating her own music. She also sings with her looper. It's really amazing. And she also plays the clarinet. She grew up playing the clarinet and was super fascinated at how I connected my flute and electronics. And so I got to share that with her on her clarinet. But then I saw this problem again, because she said, well, I looked it up and I couldn't find out anything about it. Because like I said, most wind players have never been taught how to practice this way. So are you ready to get into even more? Give me a 5 in the chat if you're ready to go. Give me a 5 in the chat. All right. Thank you, Oshana. I like your excitement. All right. So thank you for coming, Tamar. Hope you can come back and watch later. All right, we're gonna get into secret number 1. Yes, secret number 1. Why traditional practice often feels slow and uninspiring. Traditional practice often feels repetitive. Like I said before, practice can start feeling more like work than music. So you ever go, oh my gosh, I have to go through all my scale exercises. I gotta go through my tone exercises, my long tones. Many flutists practice for years and years, but still don't truly feel that they can play musically because they're doing all these over and over repetitive exercises. Most practice isolates musical skills, dynamics, and all that stuff, and solo lines instead of connecting their music. And music doesn't happen in separate pieces. That's the thing that I really want to share and get an idea of in this today. Music doesn't happen in separate pieces. So you ever tune and tune and tune, and then you go to rehearsal and you're out of tune. Well, maybe you don't know how to tune, with a loop. Ooh, with a loop. Rhythm, creativity, and harmony and expression are often practiced separately. I know you know this as a flute player. But music, like I said, doesn't happen separately. Music happens. How does music happen? What do you think? How does music happen? All at once. That's right. Music happens all at once. What if practice felt more like creating music instead of that solo line? What if rhythm, tuning, harmony, and creativity could grow together naturally? This is where creative looping changes everything. You hit record on a loop. You play one simple phrase. You layer the harmony. Suddenly, I wasn't practicing anymore. I was making music in the moment. I was creative looping. Not only that creative looping has allowed me and my students to play more in tune, play more in time, play with rhythm and confidence, because we're not percussion players, we're flute players. Create harmonies in real time just like a guitarist or a pianist would, and finally express musically. It truly is a playground of music and musical expression. Here's Alexis again. And I have been bugging her for years and years about tuning. She always tends to be flat. And since she was playing with the loopers, I was like, oh, let's try it with a tuner. And let's see what happened. Okay. So a lot of my students, I have them, when they use the looper, I have them loop with the tonic, the first note of the scale, and the dominant, so the fifth note of the scale. So a lot of times if you're playing the A, you're going to play the E, which is the dominant. And she, as you could see, she wasn't quite convinced. She was like, it's okay. This is 2 times later, so maybe 3 minutes later, she does it again. You're having fun?
Oh, yes, I am. Yeah. I'm enjoying this. I'm going to come in person more often and so I'm good at this.
Okay. So as you can see, you could see on the tuner, I don't know if you all have tonal energy, but that's the tuner that I use with my students. And you could see that she was more in tune and she was more effective because she could hear herself playing. And it only took 3 minutes. And if you notice at the end, she put her head down and then she put her head up because she understood, oh, I'm flat. So that's one thing that, just looping the tuner is good. Okay, this is Sophia, another one of my students who plays like this. Anybody know what I'm talking about? And she kind of gets flat. Let's see what Sophia does.
Okay, so
She's playing with a smaller looper. This is just a looper.
Yeah.
So again, she's doing that.
Right. So now is that in tune?
So she can hear that it wasn't in tune. Then, like I said, 1 minute later, this is only the second time she did this. And I've been hounding her for years.
Oh, yeah. Look at you getting those ghost tones.
Yeah,
Better, right?
Yeah.
Much better.
Hear it
Cool.
better. She could hear the overtones. I call them ghost tones. Because she could hear the overtones. And Mitchell, I saw you shaking your head up and down. You could hear it too, right? Much more in tune. And she's in tune with herself, which will allow her to tune with others in a band or something like that. So we'll cover more in a second. But are you getting excited? Excited? Have you ever had problems with tuning? I know I have, but this changed my life. Put a 5 in the chat if you are getting excited. Give me a 5. Or I love that, Kathleen. Kayleen. All right, awesome. Yeah, all right, awesome. Love it. Okay, secret number 2. The creative spark. Being curious. Or bringing curiosity. Being curious and bringing curiosity and joy to your play. Ever wonder why they say play? You know, we're playing on a playground. Like when you were a kid and you used to be like, oh my gosh, it's recess. I'm going to go play, right? On the swings or whatever. So it's more about joy and playfulness. That's why we call it play, right? I'm gonna go play my flute. Here's the looping hack. You don't need to be techie. You just need to be curious. Curiosity makes practicing feel exciting. Now, speaking of curiosity, I can't believe I thought I'd taken this out, but I'm gonna share it with you guys. So this is the first time, again, this is a long time ago. I had a multi-effects pedal that was like huge when I first started this, and I was exploring what it could do. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta write this down. And I remember I was so excited, I hit record on my phone, and I threw the phone down on the floor. So this is the very first recording of me playing with a looper ever, because I was so excited about it. So you can't really see me. There's a fan above me. Long time ago. Okay, that is the first time I ever played with a looper, because I was like, this is so cool. And this is before I had a bass flute, so I took it an octave down so it could sound like a bass flute. This isn't about the pedals though, because remember, this is about looping. It's all about becoming a more expressive, solid musician using that creative looping. Instead of repeating the same exercises, you begin to explore sound. You spend less time forcing practice and more time actually making music. Here's Alexa's. This is her second time looping. And I just had to record her because, again, this is the second time she's ever done this. She's gone through that solo line practice for years and years and years. Second time ever looping. I was like, okay, well, what scale do you know? Or what's your favorite scale? And that's what she built on. So you can see that she's a little timid because she's never done it, but she was making music and she built her own chord. I was really impressed and really excited. And here's Danny playing again. This was one of his few times playing on the pedals. He was so excited because he's a guitarist and he knows how to use pedals. So this is what he created. Now you can hear those chords that he knows how to do because he's used to playing a chorded instrument, but he was creating them on the flute. You stop worrying about mistakes because you could see, Alexis and Danny both were like, I don't know, maybe I'll do this. And you start discovering ideas. Creative looping turns practice into play. Yes, that's what I love about it. Oh yes, and here's Stephanie, speaking of play. So Stephanie is a student of mine and she also plays with a rock band. So she has played with pedals in the past, but she never played with a looper. And like I said, she is one of those people in my life that she has a looper, but she never gets it out. And she doesn't know how to use it. And so I was like, oh, well, let me teach you how to use it. So this is her and me exploring. This is her first time ever playing with a looper.
Now you can use that for a beat. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Something in the G major scale. And that's your tempo. I like that. Now, that wasn't, if you hit the edit on the next one, if you don't like that, you can erase that one individually.
Again, this is her first time ever looping, and she was timid, right? But you can see that she's still doing it. She's building chords. She's never played ever before on a looper. Now, this is my friend Alex. Alex and I play a lot of jazz gigs together, and Alex also likes to play a lot of Roland Kirk. If you guys know who Roland Kirk is, put a number 1 in the chat, because he's number 1 in the creativity realm. So Roland Kirk, I don't know if you know or not, is known for being one of the most creative people in music. Well, my friend Alex, all right, Daniel, yeah. My friend Alex loves Roland Kirk, and he's been asked to play on several Roland Kirk tributes. And he wanted to learn how to use the looper. So I actually taught him how to use the looper. And he decided to do a Roland Kirk kind of adventure. So check this out. It'll go great with their background music. that was Alex and his first time ever learning to loop. He was so excited about it. He did a loop that was like 2 minutes long. You can create a ton of harmonies using the looper. And this is another time where I was just practicing and playing around with the music. And this actually later became Pistachio, which is on my Saving the Queen album. Again, I was just playing. Awesome. Okay, so that's Pistachio. And Pistachio this is the first time when I was just writing it. I was like, oh, wonder what it would sound like if I actually took a fifth and put them together. Anyway, so that gave you an idea of harmonies you can create. And you don't have to have a bass flute to do it. Musical growth becomes faster when practice becomes engaging. Creativity keeps musicians practicing constantly. Or consistency, at least it's consistent, creates faster results. Play creates confidence, and confidence creates expression. Expression creates musical freedom. This isn't about motivation, it's all about play. Like we're playing on the playground. Oh, speaking of play, you can do percussion. I know I showed you that earlier, but this is some percussive beats that I was putting down. And another thing is I was just playing around. You'll see that I do it a little bit too fast. See if you can see where I hear it and I slow it down. And this is something that you can do with your flute too. What if practice became the most inspiring part of your day? Remember that first piece that I shared, the first one that I ever recorded, that I ever did, and I wanted to write it down because I was so excited. Well, I actually shared that with the Altus artist rep, and he was like, why would you do that? Why would you do that with your feet? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But later, the Altus Flutes actually bought the rights to that song to use in a commercial. And I was like, that's that song I was playing you. So this is a little bit of that song. All right. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Melinda. All right, let's move on. Now that you can hear me fully, remember, I'm going to give you some free tips at the end of the webinar. That's why I wanted you to have your flute with you. And if you don't, that's okay too. So stay tuned. Are you ready for secret number 3? Secret number 3, this is my favorite one. Put a 3 in the chat, another 3 if you're ready for secret number 3. All right. All right, I love it, Kayleen. I see you like, you're ready. Awesome, let's get into it. Yeah, we got some 3s. Secret number 3. Build your ensemble skills and become your own ensemble in minutes. Yeah. Practice freely, perform confidently, even when you are alone. Most musicians wait for their ensembles. Maybe you're in an ensemble, maybe you're in a band, maybe you're in an orchestra. If you're waiting for that ensemble to experience full music, wait no further. Let me tell you about my band, Ethereal Spectrum. That's my band that I actually moved to Austin to create. This is Ethereal Spectrum, and we did effects with guitar and flute and percussion. Our percussionist also did effects, and we got a ton of gigs because people were really excited about it. We got called for residencies. We were booking all the time, booking a few times a week, and we were recording with different groups that were so excited about our music. People wanted more. But then when I would get called for a gig, when the band members, maybe the percussionist or the guitarist couldn't make it, the ensemble growth felt like it was out of reach. Like I couldn't take that gig. Rehearsals were limited. Schedule conflicts, like I said, band members aren't always available. Gigs depended on everyone showing up. We were waiting to play and waiting to grow. In fact, we missed several gigs because we couldn't take them because someone wasn't available. And so then I realized, oh, I can get a sub. So I started scrambling for subs. Then I had to teach them the music. So that had a limiting creative freedom because I had to teach them the music, and it really stalled the progress. Creative looping changes that because you can layer rhythm, harmony, texture, melody all by yourself. So what happened was I was like, oh, well, I'm working on this other thing, so I could actually do the gig. So whenever the band couldn't take the gig, then I could take the gig. You begin hearing music differently and even thinking about when you get called for a gig differently than you ever have before. Rhythm improves naturally. Harmony becomes easier to understand. Tuning improves through real musical listening. You stop practicing alone and you start creating complete musical experiences. Practice starts feeling musical, rhythm improves naturally, harmony becomes easier to hear, creativity replaces repetition. You become your own ensemble. What if you could create music anytime inspiration starts to strike you? What we've unlocked is secret number 1, looping breakthrough that turns practice into play. Secret number 2, the creative spark, bringing curiosity back. And secret number 3, become your own ensemble in minutes a day. And you can practice it. It's crazy. I can create it in the moment. You now understand the power of creating looping. You've discovered how simple looping can be. You've seen many creative ways looping can be used. So let me ask you a question. Are you enjoying the webinar so far? Give me a 5 in the chat if you're enjoying the webinar. Oh yeah. Awesome. Great. Yay. Thank you, Mitchell. Thank you, Kayleen. Thank you, Melinda and Oshana. It's so great to have you guys here. And is that Donna? All right. Donna's here. Yay. Okay, great. I love it. Great. So how can this apply to you? Do you have, like I said, A cell phone. Do you have a cell phone? Anybody have a cell phone? I have a cell phone. You might. Don't get too distracted though. Do you have a tuner? Like one of those black boxes? Or maybe it's silver, or maybe it's white. A tuner. Or maybe it's a strobe tuner, if anybody remembers those. You have a computer application that you can use. You can use any of these. Like, okay, let me show you. I have tonal energy. Oh, something everybody has. Oh man, you're gonna love this. Voice memos. Voice memos. I don't know what it says on Android, but I think it's like voice notes or something like that. Okay, voice memos. I've got a ton of recordings. What you can do with that is let me get a 10-minute play blueprint here. So you record something simple, a simple rhythm. Oh man. Do 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 do, and then you can play it back. Let me see. Or you can play a tuning note and you can have it loop and you can play on top of that. You could actually do, especially if you have a computer or if you have a tuning application, you can layer harmonies just like that. And then you can play a melodic idea on top of that, just like Stephanie did. Now, I know she had a looper, but you can do this with your phone. Then go back and adjust something, just like that percussion thing that I showed you, where it wasn't quite in time, but then I adjusted it so it sounded like it was in time. You could just record it again. It actually takes less than 10 minutes, but you're gonna have fun. You can create your favorite scale. So put your favorite scale in the chat. What is your favorite scale? I would say mine's E minor. What is your favorite? I love E minor. A major, Mitchell, yeah. All right, C minor, woo, I like it. D, you don't know. You like them all, maybe Donna, or who's that? Oshana, maybe you like them all. But whatever scale you like, do the tonic and the fifth, record it, play it, loop it, and you can play on top of that. You don't have to have a looper. All right. Has this session changed the way that you think about practicing your instrument? Put a 5 in the chat if it did. Put a 5 in the chat. Ooh, or an 8 because we got the loop. Ooh, I gotta change it to an 8. I'm gonna say 8 in the chat. Oh yeah. We got a loop with that 8. All right. We got lots of 8s. Yay. That's what my commitment is that you think, even if you don't have a looper, you think a little bit differently. Oh, and on your tuner, if you have a tuner, like a little box tuner, it has tone or note on it, and you can just have it play that note, and then you can play over it. There's all kinds of applications out there that you can get on your phone, like a Lyra. Anyway, there's lots of things. Or you can get a looper. I'm just saying. Do you feel more excited to play than before the webinar? Put an 8 in the chat for the looping it up. All right. Yeah, 8s. I love it. All right. All right. Everybody's got some 8s. I love that you're excited to play. Can you imagine how powerful this becomes with the right guidance? You can take what I shared with you today and use that to change your life for the better. I have confidence that even after our time here together, you now understand a way to help you start looping that you previously didn't think about before. I see those 8s out there. And if that were your only option, it would be worthy, ideal to pursue. For sure. But what if there was a way to go deeper? A place where I could personally help you with these techniques and accelerate your musical growth. If I had such an option for you, would you like to hear more about it and what it could do for you? Put an 8 in the chat for looping it up if you want to hear more. Okay. All right, Suzelle. I'm going to answer your question in just a second because I want to share something with you first. Because this is a place where you don't have to figure it out alone. That's why I created Looping for Wins. Oh yeah. I love that. Okay, this concepts and methods I have shown you today only scratched the surface, not even a dent of what we can explore. First, let's talk about who is this for. Remember, this is for flute players and flute players only. Flutist or flautist, whatever you say. Tomato, tomato. Not tomatoes though. Okay, not tomatoes. Just flutists and flautists, piccoloists, piccolo players, alto flutists, alto flutists. I don't know. Alto flute players. I don't know how you say that. Bass flute players, contrabass flute players, and any combination of that. That's right, Oshana. Even you can, with your amazing bansuri, can play. This is not for anyone without a flute or anyone who doesn't know how to play the flute. Beginning flute players, because you're just learning how to play the flute. You're learning how to hold the flute, really. Flute players who aren't interested in exploring new ideas. Young flute players still learning to make a sound on the instrument because you need to be with your teacher. What this mentorship with community offers. This is a community that I'm creating. It's been on my heart forever. I'm so excited. As we go beyond playing solo parts so you can become a complete musician. Create anytime, anywhere, so you never have to wait to make music. Grow faster with the time you already have, so progress is natural. Explore creatively, so your intonation, rhythm, timing come alive. And understand music deeply, so you can play with freedom and confidence. For limited time, you can have a free 45-minute looping breakthrough session to see if this program is a good fit for you. So click the link that I'm going to put right here. Call, we will evaluate to see a few things. Number one, can we make your creativity work? I'm going to say probably, but we'll see. What are the actual problems with your mic, your looper, etc.? If you have one, you may not have one, and that's okay. Oh, I got to tell you about that in a second. Remind me. Are we a good fit on the problems that you have? And then and only then would we show you what Looping for Wins community looks like, and if you want to be part of it. So if this sounds like something that you want to skyrocket your playing, your practice, your growth as a musician, to fun, creativity, and joy over the next 3 days, only the next 3 days, I have set aside some time to talk to you to see if I can help. And we'll talk for roughly 45 minutes. I'll map out an exact action plan for you to follow so that you can explore this year. And this call will be one of the most valuable 45 minutes you spend in your musical growth this year. Again, the link is in the chat. All right, now I only have 5 spots available to talk to you guys this week because I have a very busy schedule this week. However, like I said in the meeting, creative musicians to grow faster when they create together. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a community, and creative musicians grow faster when they can create together, because this is going to be a community. Repetitive practice becomes exploration. Practicing alone becomes growing together. Playing notes becomes creative music, long tones even. You can do long tones and create music. Slow progress becomes accelerated musicianship. Oh, my questions in just a second. Stay tuned. All right, so this is Stephanie after she did some creative looping for the first time ever. Good, back to her chords.
Yeah. I love it. That was beautiful. I love it.
That was cool.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
She's super shy, so for her to even say that was like really exciting. And then Danny, oh my gosh, he couldn't stop.
I could do this all day. This is so much fun.
And then Alexis.
I think one of my favorite things right now is like, it makes playing the instrument a lot more fun because I can do a lot more, and instead of like on my own, do a lot more on my own, instead of like finding people, which is really hard because adults with schedules is hard.
Yeah, I agree. It's really hard to find adults like with my band. These people are improving and improving because they refuse to let old habits hold them back. Now, you have a chance. You can do one of two things. Number one, you can do this on your own and figure out every roadblock yourself, conquer every roadblock as it comes, figure it out, every hiccup. Or number two, you can have me by your side and be sure you are doing it right. Blast through those roadblocks like a rocket and accelerate your success faster than you ever could on your own, because I'm going to be right beside you, and so is the community, and you can let me help you, someone who has already gone through the path, through the pain, through the exploration as a flute player to another flute player. Creative looping transformed my playing and so many others in my life. If this helped you wake up to be excited to play every morning, create full music on your own, explore more, play with your instrument, would it be worth it? That's my main question. Your results will come faster than you think. I know it has for me and my students. What is the only difference between now and later? If you are ready to take your playing to the next level, my mission and passion is to help you explore this possibility over the next few days. My schedule can only handle, like I said, 5 calls within the next 5 days. I said 3 days before. I think I can do 5 days. So you have to schedule your strategy session now. It's in the chat below. I only have 5 sessions. It looks like 4 because someone already scheduled available this coming week.